Now in this lecture we're going to do something really fun, and we're going to be looking at how we can now decorate our links. You'll notice on some websites when you go on there, when you for example hover over one of the links, it will change background color like I'm doing now. Or just as you're clicking on it, it will change to another color. Things like that. It's always really fun to be able to do this. So we're just going to jump straight in. I'm going to show you how you can now decorate all of your links. So what I've done here is I've already created a number of different links using the A tag, which stands for anchor. So hopefully you remember that by now. And so all we have to do now, you'd think maybe we need to separate these into different classes or IDs or something like that. But actually it's something completely different, but very simple once you get the hang of it. Basically, all you have to do is you style your anchors or your links. So you put the A, and then you just have to put colon, no white space, and then you have the options of visited, active, link, and hover. So the most obvious of these, probably the most two obvious ones, will be hover. So that's where I've said basically for your links, whenever you're hovering, give it a background color of green. So as you can see, when I hover over one of the links, that one turns the background to green. So that's kind of intuitive. And then visited, so I want the background color to be pink if that link has been visited. So let's click through. For example, for I haven't been there yet. I haven't visited that website. So if I click through to it, then it takes me to htmlcolors.com. Now if I go back to our website, you can see it's been visited now, so it's turned pink. So the next one I'm going to explain is active. Active is when you're already clicking on something. So I'm saying to give it a background color of black, but let's go for something like orange. So so it's hovering, it's green, but when I'm clicking, so I'm going to hold down with my left button, you can see that it's changing. There you go. And then finally, we want to have link, and that's just when it's a normal link. So that's just what you want to see as the bog standard. So what I recommend you do at this point is pause the video and you try and style some links yourself. So what you do, first of all, create a few links. You can create just one if you want, but it's good to have a couple. And then you go to your CSS file and you type in A, and then you use a colon and you add visited, active, link, or hover. You can choose one of them, or you can create a number of them. It's completely up to you. But pause the video here and give that a try. So hopefully you've had a go at that yourself now, and now we're just going to look into a few more details. So for example, for my links in general, I don't always like it when it's underlined like this all the time. What I would prefer is something like this, where I have, let's say when it's a normal link, I don't want it to be underlined. So for that, what we use is something called text decoration none, because by default basically all links have the text decoration of underlined. So we're saying when it's just a link, so not when it's not hovering, when it's not active or visited, I don't want to have anything to be underlined. So as you can see now that's disappeared. So now let's say when you hover over it though, we want the text decoration to be underlined. So now there's no underlining. If we hover over it, you can see it's got a nice underline. Fantastic. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is show you something quite exciting, and that's how we can now turn one of our links into a button. So I'm going to remove these bottom three, so we just have one link. I'm going to change this to click here. Okay. Great. So first of all, how am I going to make it into a button? Well, let's say in general, I want to have, let's say when it's just a link, let's have the background color as yellow. Okay, that's looking good. But now what we're going to do is let's just have it for link and hover. To make things simpler. And let's start by making this look like a bit more of a button. So let's add some padding. And let's have 40 pixels. Okay, that might be a little bit too big, but we're getting there. Okay, great. Let's position it a bit better. So let's have a position of relative, and from the left, let's go for 40px. Looking good, and let's move it down a little bit. Okay, fantastic, that looks good. So now, as you can see, our link looks pretty much like a button. Now, we're in the hover here. We're not saying to have the padding and the position and everything like that, but it's still kind of understanding it. So when we're hovering, it's not like, you know, the position, the left and the top is being completely ignored. It's actually being inherited. So that's a new word to remember, inherited. So a hover is basically inheriting all of these things from the a link. So what I recommend you do now is have a go at this yourself. So in this lecture, we've basically gone over how you can style your links, and it's a good way to practice just by using background color. Once you've had a go at that, try creating a button just like this. And then once you're ready, I'll see you in the next lecture.